Good afternoon. I'm Zuleika Jess, Member of Parliament for Northeastern St. Elizabeth. There has been quite a lot of attention being paid to Southern St. Elizabeth. Unfortunately, Northeastern St. Elizabeth has been left devastated by the passage of Hurricane Melissa. It has been almost 1 week since the hurricane, and regrettably, not one government official has actually visited Northeastern St. Elizabeth. Now, this is a constituency that has been ravaged. We're talking about entire communities that have lost their roofs, lost their homes. Communities such as Thornton, Windsor, in the Silo area, Bagdale Mountain. There are entire communities where absolutely no home was spared. When you look at the devastation, we're not just talking about it from the home perspective. We're talking about the road network. Or roads, especially in the interior of the constituency, have been substantially and completely damaged. We have roads which have burst open, leaving craters almost 20 feet deep. I have communities which have been marooned. There's no way for them to enter or exit. I have residents reaching out to me to say that they can't get out of their community, and they have elderly persons who need to see a doctor, and they can't leave. I went in search of a community yesterday known as Maribo, and I spent over 2 hours driving around and could not find the community of Maribo. I say all of this to say to you that the devastation has been extremely great in Northeastern St. Elizabeth. And as a Member of Parliament, I have reached out to the government for assistance in getting persons who are marooned access so that they can actually leave their communities or enter elsewhere. I have been told by the government that as a Member of Parliament, I cannot engage with private contractors to have their roads cleared or to have their roads put in a place where they can leave or enter their community. And so I have been faced with a difficult decision where I have to choose whether I obey the rules as they currently stand, in which case it means that residents will be left stranded and trapped and unable to leave, even in cases of emergency. People will not be able to have access to food, water. Or I make the other difficult decision, which is to go against the government's dictates and actually engage contractors to put together the roadway as best as possible so that access can be had. I have chosen the latter. And so I hope and I pray that the government will actually make some allocation available to members of parliament in the affected constituencies. I am calling on the government to include the members of parliament, to engage with us, and very importantly, to empower us to help the people who are depending on us because they don't have the numbers for the government ministers, they have the numbers for their members of parliament, and they're reaching out and begging and crying out for help. I'm asking that the government consider making an allocation, particularly to the members of parliament in the deeply affected communities, constituencies, where it's not just a case of clearing the roadways, it's a case of actually engaging professionals who can fill the gaps and the craters and make a way where there is no way, even if it is just on a temporary basis. The hurricane has wreaked substantial damage, and it's important that there is equitable distribution of resources. I have received only 150 care packages from the government for distribution.
Yo, I have to stop you right there, so that's too much. At that point, I was at, no. How much more the people must bear? Northeast St. Elizabeth. So the other part of St. Elizabeth, I get all type of love, all type of help. I'm glad them I get it. But you tell me, say, no help, 150 care package. Today is the 6th day since the hurricane left us. Since it hit landfall, I mean. Today is the 6th day. 150 care package from the government. Oh, so this is politicizing it, right? Listen, look at them. I am so sick and tired of these people using politicizing as a crutch for not being accountable or being held accountable when they do a piss poor job. as the government. So with that, this is totally unacceptable. And it's not just about our constituency alone. It's a right across the board of all affected areas. Distribution needs to be equal. It's sick, man. You don't know how Zuleika just do it. Even speaking about it and still all was pleasant look on her face and calm to show yourself. It's not about politics. She's clearly just fighting for the people in her constituency. She lived there. She saw them and got through. She's going through it herself.
Doesn't even last one lane in one community because everybody sources. I have received only 150 care packages from the government for distribution. That doesn't even last one lane in one community because everybody has been affected. It received only 150 care packages from the government for distribution. That doesn't even last one lane in one community because everybody has been affected in most communities. So it's not just the elderly or the disabled, it is everybody who is affected. And so I'm calling on the government to engage and to engage as a matter of urgency so that the relief that is necessary can be had. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you guys think that was not important to have a press conference about? Do you guys think it was unwise for Zuleika Jess and the People's National Party, with everything that Mark Bolo understands from what is being related to him by his MPs that are in some of the most affected areas? Do you think that this press conference was an unwise press conference to keep? Please let me know in the comment section, and in the meantime, make sure you smash the like button and share the live. 5,000 likes is the aim, 1,000 shares. Let's go.
So I will speak of the experience from St. James, and after which Dr. Dawes will speak about the health crisis and Natalie about coordination. When last I checked, we lost 5 lives in South St. James to Hurricane Melissa. I speak not only as a person reading or hearing about what's happening in South St. James and in Jamaica, but as someone from South St. James who was on the ground from Wednesday. I left the constituency last night this morning at 2 a.m. to be a part of this press conference because as the chief spokesperson for the people of South St. James, I think it is my duty to get out of the largest constituency in St. James of the parish. The other 4 constituencies share the other 48%. We're vast. We meet Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawney, and 2 other constituencies, West Central and East Central St. James. To enter the constituency, traditionally we use 5 different routes. We have only been able to clear 1 route into South St. James, and that is through Long Hill to Anchovy Mafuta, Barnet Bush to take you up to Garland's, Mokum, Maroontown, or you go right at Fern, Plum, Cambridge to go as far as you can until you're stopped by downed power lines, poles, landslides, and rivers. Yes, the 7 Rivers has taken the road we have in the Bickerstead Copperwood plantation area. We still have communities that are marooned and do not have access to food. When I say no access to food, what I mean is that when we advised them to go to a shelter like the shelter at Cambridge High School, we told them that we were advised by the government that food would come after the storm, which was a mistake because some went in from as early as Monday of last week and they have not had food up till now.
People, y'all tell me say, this press conference was unwise, documentation or This press conference was unwise to take because you are worried about how you look politically for Antoine and nasty government. Eh? This was unwise. When we put the people in our tell them say you're going to shelter after the storm, they can't afford. 7 days later, the Monday the people in there last week Monday in a shelter, they moved on house, obviously. Right? Lose them living, but them live. That's how them living at the first place. 4 days in a flood, them roof down. And you have to tell me, say, oh no, they're not to come out from advocate and let the people know. So they ask them something. When there is a fire, you don't call the fire brigade. So what is the People's National Party doing? This is an emergency. Seven days the people don't eat. No food is there unless they find something like natural environment. How long does it last in a those conditions? Where is the government? Andrew Holness, you went and CNN and said, you will be able to reach the people immediately. 7 days after, it's not immediately. But I digress. Velma, good evening. Let me speak to you about your continue.
By the government that food would come after. We still have communities that are marooned and do not have access to food. And when I say no access to food, what I mean is that when we advised them to go to a shelter like the shelter at Cambridge High School, we told them that we were advised by the government that food would come after the storm, which was a mistake because some went in from as early as Monday of last week and they have not had food up till now. We were able to send a little boat across, a little blow-up boat across the roadway to get to some, and they got food for one night because the boat couldn't hold much more. We have seen the helicopters flying in the sky above us in South St. James, but most times they're going to St. Elizabeth or Westmoreland. They're going to the sexy places where disaster grief is big profit and big public relations opportunities.
She is absolutely right. Going to those places are big profit and big opportunity to expand their brand. Corporate people know what they're doing. The crisis is free promotion. Oh, look at such and this fast food place that went down there and did this and they did this and this. Oh, they're not about helping the people. And I'm gonna tell you how you're gonna know that they're not about helping the people. You see when the people need it the most, when it's not, when there's less press that's covering these areas, watch the people that help. Watch the companies that help. Watch the companies that put their money behind it. When they start to lose money, when it starts to pressure them pocket, see if them ever stand with the people in the same way. Then, I don't know call the name enough. Just open the eye and look. And then we see them like that about. Down the line, 1 month, 2 months, just watch. Watch and see who is going to still offer their services to help the people in these areas that still don't have a home. Just watch and see. That's how you're going to know who really is about helping the people. Me know some Marvin now left them. I'm sure about that. Me know some partner on TV at half of the press. We know some always at the film thing. You understand? If ever help people, you understand? Even some of the artists, they are here to do the bare minimum because they don't want it to look bad from them. Just watch them tell you now. Watch them tell you. You will see. You will see.
We have seen the helicopters flying in the sky above us in South St. James, but most times they're going to St. Elizabeth or Westmoreland. They're going to the sexy places where disaster grief is big profit and big public relations opportunities. In South St. James, we're farmers, we're humble people, we don't like to beg. But I'm appealing on our behalf because we need urgently food for our people who are marooned in places like Catadupa, in Jungle, in Awful Gully. We're calling for help for people in Retrieve, where we join Eastern Westmoreland because they were only able to get their dead out of the community just 2 days ago. We're asking to have the health authorities come in because the cows are still floating, the goats are still floating in the waters that have taken and submerged communities like Spring Bottom in the Roehampton area. 2-story high houses are still underwater. We have a coaster bus, you know the height of that is still submerged along the roadway to Cambridge. Based on my estimation, over 70% of the housing stock, the business, the livestock, the agriculture has been lost in South St. James. And when I go to the community, I don't know what to say to them because they ask me, MP, it's in my house, it was right here, it's no longer here, what do I do? I tell them that I have not yet gotten a word from the government, right? To tell us how we're going to help them to rebuild and to get their lives back together, right? So, we're not asking because we are greedy. We're asking because the collaboration and the coordination on the ground is not reaching our people in South St. James. When I'm able to bring 2 bags of food like I did last night to the school at Malden High, they were not able to make breakfast this morning because it could only last 1 day. I'm asking you to help us to airlift some food into the communities, to get the sick people out of the homes and into the hospital. We have some pregnant mothers. We were able to get to the hospital at Cornwall Original just yesterday. Her baby was not moving anymore in her belly, right? We have an urgent need in South St. James, and I know everybody is trying. All I'm asking is don't forget South St. James in all of this, because we are proud farmers and we want to get back with our lives, but we need the donations to come to us too. We don't want to stay left behind because we're deep rural. You're going to hear...
Listen, man. You see, and I'm going to highlight this person. I'm glad I'm recording this. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, let me share my experience. And I want to show you something. At this point, this person that you're seeing on your screen, you can see that is watching the live, but when they put out the video, you're going to see. Kizzy in Style 4455 on YouTube. Look at what Kizzy in Style 4455 wrote in the comment section when Nekeisha Burchell had a breakdown at that point, almost crying and not going, as you can clearly see, at the call and hug her and console her, because it was so overwhelming, right? Because she's on the ground. You imagine, look at this comment. MP work on the wall, MP work on the get, work now, not cry. How cold and brutal. This is a journalist said, Kissy be quiet. Somebody said, by Victoria said, Kissy, you have sense. And there were other reactions, but I screenshotted it to highlight hers at the top. I don't even know if you guys can see it. That's on here. Hold on. Hold on. You only can see it now. You want to block off the person. Sorry about that. I put it some remember. See that people? MP work for the one, MP work for the get. Kissy install 455 on YouTube. There's a germ. The bottom of the barrel of a human being. No apology. How insensitive. How cruel. Huh? The lady's baby was moving in her belly. People in Maroon and lock up and marriage after. And imagine, help is passing St. James, going to St. Elizabeth. Passing, and then need help. And it's the 6th day. I have people in the comment section making these comments. I have Nationwide talking about if you're sure it was wise. We're not coming out right now. We never stop the Nationwide for this. This is the last straw. Then it's young brother. Continue, man. Come on, go out and continue. Come on. We'll let you finish. Unbelievable.
Hear now from Dr. Dawes about the health conditions because the mosquitoes are killing us already in South St. James, and then MP Natalie Mita.
I didn't even remember that that's where she ended. And she had to end because she was gonna break down. She was gonna break down. That's real. That's people that have real emotions and are emotionally intelligent. She's living, she lived there. You know that she couldn't find some of her family? I don't know if she found them. You know that she couldn't find some of her family? Nekeisha Burchell, Dr. Nathan Campbell. I think he was supposed to be a this press conference. He put him tied up in that Eastern Florida. Oh God. Him tied up in all team homestead damage. The people and the concern of the therapy people. So only let me know the people that in the comment section, man. Get this video to 5,000 likes and 1,000 shares. Follow me on our platform. My God.